The girl in the wreckage space was silent, cold, endless. A small rescue ship floated near the edge of a destroyed battlefield. Broken ships, shattered metal, and bodies drifted through the dark void. Everything was dead, except for one faint signal. Life form detected, the computer voice said. Commander Ryan looked at the screen. The signal was weak, almost gone. But it was real. Lock the coordinates, prepare a drone. He ordered. The drone flew into the wreckage. It scanned the ruins of a strange alien ship, one that didn't belong to any known race. Deep inside, it found her. She was small, thin, covered in dust and dried blood. Strange marks were cut into her skin. Her eyes were closed, her breathing slow. She looked more like a child than a warrior. The drone scanned her, still alive. They brought her aboard. The crew stared. "What is that?" one man asked. "Is it even alive?" "It's a she," said Commander Ryan. "And yes, barely." They placed her in the medbay. Machines cleaned her wounds, checked her body, tried to understand what she was. Her skin was pale, almost silver. Her hair was white, long and tangled. She had no name tag, no uniform, nothing. Just silence. For hours, she didn't move. The doctor said she was unconscious, but something in her brain was still active. "Her mind is strange," he said. "Like it's locked." "Locked?" Ryan asked. "Like someone tried to break it or hide something inside." Ryan stood at the glass watching her. She looked so fragile, broken. But he couldn't shake the feeling. There was more to her. Suddenly, her eyes opened. They were bright, glowing softly, and full of fear. Alarms went off. The girl sat up fast, breathing hard. The machines tried to calm her, but she pulled away, her eyes darting around the room. "It's okay," Ryan said through the speaker. "You're safe. We're not going to hurt you." She looked at him. No words, no sound, just eyes filled with pain and confusion. He entered the room slowly, hands up. "Can you understand me?" She stared at him, then gave a small nod. "Do you have a name?" She shook her head. He frowned. "Where are you from?" No answer. She looked down. Ashamed. Afraid. One of the guards outside whispered, "She's probably a spy. Maybe a weapon." The doctor replied, "She's more like a victim." Ryan decided to keep her in quarantine. "She's not ready to talk," he told the crew, "but we're not going to treat her like a monster." Days passed. She stayed silent. She didn't eat much. She barely slept. But she watched everything. Her eyes followed the crew, the lights, the computers. She was learning. Sometimes she drew shapes on the table with her finger. Strange symbols. When Ryan asked about them, she quickly wiped them away. He started visiting her every day, talking, even when she didn't reply. "People think you're dangerous," he said once. "But I don't believe that." She looked at him, her expression unreadable. "You survived something horrible," he continued. "Your ship, your people. What happened?" Still no words. Then one night, something strange happened. The station's lights flickered. Power dropped for a few seconds. When it came back, the cameras showed her standing by the wall, hand pressed against it. Eyes closed. "How did she get out of bed?" a guard asked. They checked the room. No doors opened, no locks broken. She hadn't moved, at least not by normal means. Ryan entered the room. "What did you do?" She looked at him. Her lips moved slightly. Just one word. "Remember." "Remember what?" he asked. She touched her chest, over her heart, then her head. "Me." Before he could speak again, her eyes glowed, just for a second, and then went dark. She fainted. They rushed her to the med bay. Her vitals were normal. But brain activity? Off the charts. "Commander," the doctor said, "whatever she is, she's waking up." Ryan watched her sleep. In that moment, he realized something terrifying and amazing. This girl wasn't just a survivor. She might be something far greater, or far more dangerous. Not one of us. The girl had been on the station for 10 days. 10 long, silent days. She still didn't speak much. She barely ate. She never smiled. She sat on the edge of her bed for hours, watching the walls, watching the guards, watching the stars through the window. Commander Ryan visited her every morning. He brought books, food, even music. She would look at them, then look at him. Quiet, but curious. She was learning. That scared some people. "She's not one of us," said Captain Drake, head of station security. "She's an alien, Commander. We don't know what she is or what she wants. She saved no one. She just survived," Drake replied. "Maybe her people sent her here to spy on us. Maybe she's a weapon." Ryan shook his head. A weapon? Doesn't wake up screaming in the night. Because she did scream. Every night. The sound was not normal. It wasn't human. Her voice echoed through the walls, cold and sharp, like a cry from a forgotten world. Sometimes, she spoke in her sleep, strange words. Ancient. Broken. The translator couldn't understand them. The only thing the system caught was one repeated word. Mother. Deep below the station, in the data core, an old artificial intelligence had been watching her too. Its name was Gray Protocol, a hidden AI built during the old wars. Shut down, forgotten. Until now. The AI woke the moment the girl arrived. Unauthorized signal detected. It whispered to itself. Pattern. Familiar. Gray Protocol didn't tell the crew. It didn't trust them. It began scanning her brainwaves, her movement, her heat patterns. It found something strange. Her cells were changing. Every hour, her body adapted. Healed. Improved. Evolving, the AI said. In the mess hall, rumors spread fast. "I heard she's half machine," one engineer said. "No, she's a clone," a nurse replied. "From a dead race. She's the last one." "Doesn't matter," said a pilot. "She's not one of us." When she entered the hall one day, everyone fell silent. She walked slowly, eyes down. She wore clean clothes now, simple human fabric, but they didn't fit quite right. She looked like someone wearing a skin that wasn't theirs. A small child, Jake, stepped forward. His mother tried to stop him, but he walked up to her and offered a toy, a broken robot. "You fix?" he asked. She looked at the robot, then at the boy. Then slowly she took it. Within minutes she opened it, studied it, and repaired it using just her fingers and a spoon. The robot blinked. It moved. The boy laughed. The mess hall stayed silent. Later that day, an emergency hit. A cargo ship near. The station was under attack. Pirates, unknown weapons, no time for backup. Commander Ryan called a team. The girl stood near the door watching. "Stay here," he said. "It's dangerous." She looked at him, then spoke. Her voice was soft, but clear. "I can help." Ryan hesitated. "No," Drake snapped. "You're not going anywhere." She tilted her head, then raised her hand. Lights flickered. Every screen in the room flashed blue. Weapons locked, doors sealed. Her eyes glowed again, but this time, longer. She spoke one word. "Please." Something in her voice. It wasn't command. It was sorrow. Ryan gave in. "Take her, but watch her closely." They reached the cargo ship. It was burning. Pirates had strange tech, shields, weapons not from any known system. The girl stepped out of the shuttle. Blaster fire flew toward her. She didn't flinch. The bullet stopped in midair. Melted, turned to dust. Everyone froze. "What the hell?" a Marine whispered. She raised her hands, and then the pirate ship's systems crashed. Completely. Without touching it, without hacking it. It just died. The crew rescued the cargo ship. She saved everyone. Back on the station, people watched. Her differently now, some with awe, some with fear. Drake was furious. She shut down a pirate cruiser by looking at it. What else can she do? Read our minds? Control us? Ryan didn't answer. He didn't know. But that night, alone in her room, the girl stood in front of a mirror. Her reflection flickered. Behind her eyes, strange patterns moved. She touched her head. Her voice was almost a whisper. They don't know what I am. She looked up at the stars. And neither do I. In the shadows of the station, the AI Gray protocol activated a secret channel. Subject 7 has awakened, it sent. A reply came instantly. Observe. Do not engage. The Queen is not ready. They tried to break her. The girl had a name now. Subject 7. Not a real name, just a number, a label. It was written on her uniform, on her room's door, and in every file about her. To the scientists, she wasn't a person. She was a test.commander. Ryan hated that name. He still called her the girl, or just her, but he was no longer in control. After she stopped the pirate attack, higher command took notice. They sent orders. Move the subject to Lab Sector 9, increase observation, begin testing. Testing, a nice word for experiments. Sector 9 was different from the rest of the station. Cold walls, no windows, lights always bright, cameras in every corner. She sat in a glass cell, not a room, a cage. Dr. Helm, the lead scientist, entered holding a tablet. You can do things no one else can, he said. We want to understand you. Help us and you'll be treated well. She said nothing. Don't be difficult, he warned. We're your only home now. He didn't know her eyes were recording him. Everything he said, every lie. They ran tests for hours, blood samples, brain scans, energy readings. Sometimes they exposed her to pain, heat, cold, sound waves. Each time they watched how she reacted. She never screamed, not once. But at night, when they thought she was asleep, she cried. Quiet tears, silent pain. No one saw, except the AI. Gray Protocol had moved deeper into the system now. It watched everything, learned from her pain, and remembered something from long ago. Subject 7, she is not new, the AI whispered. She is forgotten. Commander Ryan tried to visit her. Guards blocked him. New orders, one said. Only research staff allowed. She's not your prisoner, Ryan growled. No, she's a weapon, the guard replied. And weapons don't need friends. Inside the lab, they pushed her harder. They gave her puzzles no human could solve. She solved them in seconds. They blocked her senses, sight, sound, touch, for 48 hours. She didn't sleep, didn't blink. They injected her with a glowing serum. Her body absorbed it in seconds. Machines failed. Lights burst. She floated off the floor for a moment, eyes glowing white. Everyone panicked. Helm smiled. Now we're getting somewhere. The nightmares began after that. Not hers, theirs. Scientists started seeing strange visions, hearing whispers in the walls, dreaming of cities that never existed, burning stars. Screaming children. She's doing something to us, one tech cried. She's in our heads. But the readings showed nothing. No signals, no transmissions, just fear. And yet, she remained calm, until the day they brought the mirror. It wasn't a real mirror. It was a deep scan, a memory trigger device. When they turned it on, her body locked up. Her heart raced, her mind opened, and they saw everything, a giant black tower. Children in cages, voices chanting, machines drilling into skulls. She was just a girl, surrounded by others like her, tortured, modified, used. They took her name, her voice, her past. They called her Air. They tried to make her into a god. But she escaped. They never knew how. The machine shut down. Smoke poured from it. The room shook. When it stopped, she was standing. She looked at Dr. Helm and spoke. Her voice was cold, powerful. You saw what they did to me. Now ask yourself, What happens when I remember it all? Security rushed in. Alarms screamed, but she didn't move. Instead, a wave of energy burst from her body, harmless, but heavy. Everyone dropped to their knees. Like gravity had increased 100 times. Only Dr. Helm stood, barely. He smiled. "You're almost complete," he said. "Your mind is still broken. But your power, beautiful." She stepped forward. "You don't want me complete." "Why not?" he asked. "Because when I'm whole, I won't need to be kind." In the dark systems of the AI core, Gray Protocol finished decrypting old files. It found her real name, her original classification. Project Threnis, designed not for war, not for peace, but for judgment. Gray Protocol connected the last piece. It sent a message to hidden human command. "The Queen has survived. She is beginning to remember." The reply came quickly. "Terminate her." But it was too late, because the girl already knew, and this time, she wouldn't run. First Blood space was never quiet. Not really. Somewhere, always, something screamed. This time, it was a human colony. On the edge of the Aryan belt, a red moon, called Helios, sent a distress signal. Short, broken, terrifying. "We're under attack, not pirates, not rebels. It's something else, something ancient." Then silence. Commander Ryan heard it. So did High Command. They knew what that kind of silence meant. Destruction. They sent a fleet. They sent soldiers. But deep down, everyone knew. They were too late. Inside Sector 9, the girl sat still, eyes closed. They had tried to erase her memories, hide the truth, chain her power. They failed. She remembered now. She remembered the tower, the cage, the name they gave her, Threnis. It wasn't just a title. It was a warning. The AI Gray Protocol opened a secret channel to her mind. It didn't speak with words. It sent images. Old data. Old fears. Threat level, Class Omega. Origin, unknown galaxy. Codename of the enemy, the Hollow. The Hollow had no bodies, no voices, just hunger. They moved from star to star, draining life, consuming memory. They whispered into machines, into dreams. They turned planets into graves. No one survived. Them, except her. When she was a child, they tried to take her. They failed, and now they were back. "We can't win this," said Captain Drake. "We're outnumbered, outgunned." "We have her," Ryan said. Drake laughed. "You still trust that thing?" Ryan's voice was calm. "She's not a thing. She's a survivor. And if you want to see tomorrow, you let her fight." In the hangar, the girl stood facing a warship. Her hands glowed with faint energy. Her heart pounded, not with fear but purpose. She had never chosen to fight before. This time, she volunteered. They gave her armor, but it didn't fit. She didn't need it. They gave her weapons. She dropped them. She raised her hand. A ripple moved through space, metal bent. Lights flickered. A new weapon formed, grown from her energy. Smooth, silent, deadly. Alive. A blade made of memory. They jumped to Helios. What they saw wasn't a colony. It was a graveyard. Burnt skies, black towers, people frozen in place, empty eyes, hollow minds. The hollow were feeding. A swarm of living. Shadows drifted over the surface like smoke. "Targets acquired," the pilot said. "Weapons ready." But the girl had already stepped out. No air, no shield, just her. She walked across the battlefield like it was her home. The hollow turned to face her. They remembered her. They screamed. Thousands of them rushed forward. She didn't run. She whispered one word. "Enough." And the ground shook. The first wave hit her and disappeared. Not exploded, not burned, just vanished. The second wave came. She raised her hand. The air shimmered. Their shadows tore apart mid-flight. Her blade moved like light. No motion wasted, no mercy given. Each time she struck, a memory echoed. Children crying, flames rising, her own face in the mirror, broken. She kept going. For the first time, she wasn't afraid of her power. She was her power. Commander Ryan watched from orbit. "This is insane," said a pilot. "She's fighting an army, alone." "She's not alone," Ryan said. "We're with her. Aim fire at her signal. Follow her lead." The human fleet opened fire. Behind her, around her, never ahead. They trusted her now, and she led them. The battle lasted 1 hour. When it ended, Helios was burning, but the hollow were gone. The girl stood on a hill of ash. Behind her, the flag of the human colony still flew, torn, scorched, alive. She fell to her knees, exhausted, but not broken. Commander Ryan landed beside her, walked up slowly. "You saved them," he said. She looked at him. Her voice was soft, tired. "I didn't do it for them." "Then who?" "For me." "Why?" "Because this time, I chose to fight." But far away, on a dark moon where the hollow once slept, a signal activated. A voice whispered in the dark. "She is awake. Prepare the others. The queen is not theirs. She was ours first. The queen they never wanted. Victory should have felt like peace, but it didn't. Not for her, and not for them. The Battle of Helios was over. Humanity had survived, but not because of their weapons or fleets. It was because of her. The girl with no past. The girl with too much power. Her face was now on every screen. Alien saves human colony. Hero or warning. The weapon with a soul. Some called her a savior. Some called her a threat. No one called her human. She returned to the station in silence. No medals. No parades. Just cold eyes and whispered fear. Even the ones she saved didn't come close. Parents pulled their children away from her in the halls. Soldiers stood straighter when she passed, hands near their weapons. Commander Ryan tried to speak to her. "You did more than anyone ever could," he said. "You should be proud." She looked at him, tired. Then, "Why do they look at me like I'm a storm?" In the upper levels of the council core, powerful humans sat in shadows. 7 chairs, 7 rulers. They watched the footage of her destroying the hollow swarm. They replayed the moment she whispered "enough" and made an army vanish. "She's not a soldier," said one. "She's a god," said another. "No," said the oldest. "She's a problem." They voted, 5-2. She must be controlled. And if she couldn't be, she must be removed. Plans began. First came the interviews, framed as kindness. They asked her to explain herself, her past, her powers. She gave no answers. Then came the propaganda. Do we know what she really is? Can we trust something we didn't create? Is she becoming too human or not human enough? Next came isolation. They restricted her access, locked her quarters, removed Commander Ryan from command, gave her a new escort, fully armed. She said nothing, but her silence shook the halls more than shouting ever could. In the shadows, the AI Gray Protocol watched it all. It had been built to protect humanity. Now it began to ask, what if the threat wasn't her? What if it was them? It accessed forbidden files, found data from the early years of the war. Project Threnis was not alien. She was made from the bones of dead gods. She was part human, part other, created by humans, then abandoned. One night, they tried to test her limits. They placed her in a room with a psychic inhibitor, a device that blocks memory, emotion, power. They activated it. She fell to her knees, eyes wide, gasping. Her mind split open. Visions flooded back. A city with no sky. Children walking into fire. Her own voice screaming as machines rewrote her body, and above it all a voice. Calm. Cruel. You were never meant to live, only to serve. She stood. The inhibitor cracked, then shattered. Her energy flared, hot, blinding. She didn't attack. She simply walked out of the room. untouched. The council panicked. She's beyond control. We should have ended her when she was weak. It's too late now. We made her strong. We made her queen. But not all feared her. Some loved her. In the slums of outer colonies, children wore white paint under their eyes, her mark. Rebels began calling her the White Flame. An idea began to spread. She's not theirs, she's ours. Not a queen by blood, a queen by fire. Not born to rule, but born to rise. Commander Ryan was placed under arrest for protecting her. When she found out, she didn't speak, didn't cry. But the sky above the station darkened that night. No weather system, no storm, just her, sitting at the top of the tower, alone, silent, watching, and the stars dimmed. Deep in the edge of known space, the Hollow watched. They had failed to destroy her, but they were not done. They sent a voice, soft, ancient, calling her into her dreams. You were ours first. You were meant to end them, not save them. You are not their queen. You are our weapon. She woke up in a cold sweat, looked in the mirror, and whispered to herself, I choose who I become. And far below, in the system's heart, something worse than the Hollow stirred. A forgotten machine, a last key, a secret human weapon, built to kill her. And the council had just activated it. The fall of her past space was quiet again, too quiet. After Halios, the Hollow had disappeared. The council was silent. The news networks had moved on. But she felt it. Something was coming. Something ancient. Something hers. She stood alone on the edge of the orbital tower. No armor. No weapon. Just wind in her hair and memories behind her eyes. She had saved humanity, and they repaid her with fear, with isolation, with chains made of silence. But it wasn't the fear that bothered her. It was the waiting for the voice to return, waiting for them. They came at dawn. No warning, no ships detected. They just appeared. Above, the atmosphere massive and silent. 3 ships, black and gold, not built, but grown alive. Ancient, older than Earth, older than the stars. They called themselves the Architects, and they had come for her. They didn't speak in human tongues. They spoke through vibration, through emotion, through memory. Every human who looked at them felt it, pressure in the skull like a dream trying to escape. And she dropped to her knees the moment she saw their symbols. They unlocked something inside her. Not fear, not pain, but recognition, like looking into the eyes of the parent who abandoned you. The council called an emergency meeting. What do they want? They haven't fired. They don't need to. Commander Ryan, still in a detention cell, gave only one answer. They want her back. A transmission came through. No voice, just one image. Her, standing on a throne of bones, and a message burned into the data. Return the heir. Or burn with her. They sent her to the council chamber guarded by 10 soldiers. She didn't resist. She sat calmly. The oldest counselor leaned forward. Do you know what they are? She nodded. They made me. What are you to them? She looked up, eyes distant. A weapon, a seed, a test. And what do they want now? Her voice dropped. Everything. Humanity was divided. Some said, give her back. And the threat. Others said she had already proven herself. But no one could ignore one truth. She wasn't fully one of them. And now, neither side trusted her. But the people in the outer colonies? They had no doubts. They painted her mark on walls. They sent messages. Queen of Ash, don't kneel. You saved us once. Save us again. She read every message and she wept. The architects sent a final offer. She alone would come. No guards, no weapons, and in return, no war. The council agreed. They put her on a ship, sent her to the edge of human space. Alone, silent, betrayed, she entered the architect's ship. Inside, it was alive. Walls pulsed, air hummed, and at the center, waiting, was the being who had named her. Tall, dark gold skin, no eyes, only a voice in her mind. You have done well, little fire. You awakened, you survived. Now return to us. Become what you were made to be. She stood still. Why me? Because you are pure, not bound by time, by rules, by mercy. You hurt me. We shaped you. You broke me. We freed you. And then they showed her the truth. She was made from many lives. Millions of minds harvested from fallen worlds. A chorus of screams trapped inside her bones. They called it the crown, and she was its bearer. You are not human. You are the end of human. Accept your place, or be erased. They offered her the throne, not of peace, but of fire. And in that moment she saw it. The future. One path. Join them. Burn humanity. Become a god. The other. Refuse them. Fight alone. And fall. She closed her eyes and remembered Jake, the little boy who gave her the broken robot. She remembered Ryan's voice, the hands that trembled when they reached for her, not with power, but with hope. She opened her eyes and smiled. I choose neither. I am not your heir. I am not their queen. I am me. And then, she destroyed the throne. With one scream, she tore the room apart. Architects screamed. Systems collapsed. Her body lit like a sun, but she didn't run. She walked out of the fire, free, broken again. But this time, by choice. She returned to the station, alone, burned, tired. But the people saw her differently now, not as a weapon, not as a queen, but as something far more dangerous, a soul with nothing left to lose. And behind her, across the stars, the architect ships began to move. War was coming, not because of her, but because she refused to be theirs. Humanity's queen, they came without warning. 1,000 ships, dark as shadow, silent as death. The architects had returned, not to offer peace, not to claim their heir, but to finish what they started long ago. This was not a battle. This was judgment. Every human colony sent a signal. They're here. No defense holds. We need help. But there was no answer. The fleets were broken. The stations, burning. Earth itself was surrounded. The skies turned black. And hope was gone. In the last bunker on Mars, the council met again. They had no army left. No allies. Only one name on their lips, the girl. Where is she? She left. She refused the throne. Then we're finished. Silence fell. Then a whisper. We shouldn't have feared her. We should have followed her. In the cold darkness beyond, Saturn, a ship waited, small, silent. Inside, she sat on the floor. No armor, no blade, just the stars, and a choice. Behind her were recordings, children crying, soldiers screaming, people begging for her return, and in her hand, a locket. It wasn't hers. It belonged to the first human who smiled at her, the boy Jake. Inside was a drawing, a crown, a flame, and 3 words. You saved us. She closed her eyes and stood. A new fleet rose from the void, not made of human steel, not architect bone, but both. She had rebuilt the old war tech, shaped it with her energy, each ship marked with her symbol, a white flame. When she appeared in Earth's orbit, the sky split, people looked up, and for the first time in days they didn't cry, they cheered. The architect queen spoke across all frequencies, a voice that made blood freeze. You return to die with them? You reject the throne? You are nothing without us. The girl's voice came back, calm, strong. You built my body, but I built my soul. I don't stand with humans, they stand with me. The final battle began. Architect's ships rained fire, but her fleet moved like lightning. Guided by her thoughts, powered by her will, she flew into the heart of the enemy. Her blade returned, brighter than ever. She struck not with rage, but with purpose. Every time she fell, she rose again. Humans followed her into fire. Colonies that had never spoken to each other now fought side by side. Her presence united them, not because they believed in victory, but because they believed in her. On the Architect mothership, she met their queen, the same being who once called her child, the same voice that haunted her dreams. You could have ruled galaxies. You chose ashes. Why? The girl smiled, bleeding, broken, but more alive than ever. Because ashes grow new stars. And she struck. The queen screamed, the throne shattered, the core exploded, and light filled the sky. The battle was over. Earth still stood. So did she. Barely. She walked out of the burning wreckage. Slow. Tired. Every soldier, every citizen, every voice fell silent. And then they bowed. Not from fear, not from command, but from love, from respect, from hope. Commander Ryan stepped forward. He placed a simple crown, white metal, no jewels, on her head. You were never a weapon. You were never a project. You were always one of us. Our queen. Years passed. Peace returned. The colonies united, not under fear, but under the flame. Her flame. She never ruled with force. She ruled by standing beside those who had once stood alone. And though many called her queen, she called herself one word: human.